I'm Nikki Dora. I wanted to have a quick word about past lives this morning. Past lives. Now, most people know the theory. Some people are very, very much into past lives. And I kind of wanted to put out a word of caution about past lives. Do not use past lives to absolve yourself of responsibility. It happened in it was a past life, I can't do anything about it. Or if you start with your sentence of going, oh, well, in a past life I was this and this is how I am, you're using it as an excuse. You cannot take responsibility or blame or any credit for what has happened before this life, this incarnation. And when you start by, trying to opt out, because that's what you're doing when you're going, oh, it's a past life, I have nothing, I can't do anything about it. You're opting out. If you don't own it, you can't heal it. And the only past life issues that are important to you are issues that are happening in your everyday life. A lot of our issues that we're going through, or repetitive patterns, are past life patterns. We can, so if you take out the past life, this is a pattern, because it would have started in your own life here, this incarnation, and this is the only incarnation that you can take credit for. You can only take credit for what you have done through this lifetime. It doesn't matter if you were the Queen of Sheba in some lifetime. It's irrelevant. What you do now and how those patterns are being broken is what's important. Do not let different labels that we give things, whether it be soul, soulmates, or twin souls, or kind of past lives, anything like that, or karma, take away from, when you break it down, what does that mean? What is my responsibility here and now? And it's really important that we look at the use of language and the way that we start talking about these things. If it is happening in your life, then it is important to you now, and it's important to this incarnation. And it doesn't matter whether you label it past life or a pattern, because if it's a past life pattern, it will have started in your childhood and it will continue through, because you were born with that. It doesn't mean you need to stay there. And this is when I often talk about we're not our chart. We have a choice, we're born into this, but it doesn't, we can't just turn around and say, well, actually, I've got my Saturn here, so therefore this is the only thing I can be. We have that choice, and there's a lots of scope, and we need to look at it that way. So stop looking at past lives as a get out of jail card, or get it, all of these things. I always it makes me think of Monopoly, where you have where you pass go and you get £200, or you go directly to jail. Either of those you cannot take responsibility for if they're past. You can just focus on the present. And any time that you start focusing on whether it's past lives or future lives, because that's a whole different ball game, and maybe we'll talk about that another time. You can't, you can't, it stops you from being present in now, if you're always going, okay, well. And then people use lots of excuses. There's a lot of kind of like, oh, well, we were, we have this past life connection, and they put up with a dysfunctional or toxic or even abusive relationship, because they go, oh, yeah, but, we've got a past life connection. The connection can feel strong. It doesn't matter what it feels like. If it is not healthy, it's not good for you, and things need to work. You can't opt out. What you can do is go, okay, that, I can see that. It did start in a past life. It reoccurred in this life, and how do I deal with it now? And that's really important in the way that we're talking about it, and we're not opting out, we are trying to move forward. Do not use it as an excuse. So, think about the way you're using it when you start even just saying the words past life. So if you're using it as a beginning all the time, then you're starting to identify with that. That becomes part of your label, part of your story. And do you really want that to be part of your story when it's not something that you were in control of? Because you as a personality wasn't. Your soul was. But let's remember that we are a persona, a personality, and that does not incarnate again. Your soul does. So there needs to be a little bit of separation between your spirit and your persona, which is you, and your soul. Because even though it's part of you, it will continue for many more lifetimes for most of us. But you, who is standing there looking in the mirror, won't. So your spirit and persona are the things that will die in this lifetime. Your soul will continue. So you have to remember, you can't look at things in the way you are, because that's not you doing all those things in a past life. I mean, parallel lives would be completely different, and maybe we'll have a different conversation on it, but that's the message today. Past lives, stop using it as an excuse. Take that label away and see how it changes the energy, and you start looking at how you can start healing those things. Past life patterns are meant to be broken. They are harder, but they are meant to be broken so you can move on. They're not here so you can repeat the same patterns. They've been brought up to help you, and they tend to be hard. So that is my message for today. Have a good one.